Hey Jennifer, I just wanted to follow up with that email you sent me the other day about some discipline issues you're having in your first grade class.
Well, yeah, it's just been, as you know, this is my first year teaching, and the discipline thing has been the biggest challenge for me so far.
Okay.
A lot of my students are great. We have a lot of parental involvement. We have a lot of, parents really teaching them one thing at home and expecting them to do the same thing at school. But then we also have parents who aren't super involved, and from that, I'm sort of seeing more discipline problems
Okay.
than with some of my other students. So I guess I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed with the
Okay.
discipline thing, and I don't want administration to think I'm ineffective or that I can't manage my classroom. But it's been kind of a slow learning process for me
Okay.
so far.
Are you noticing a pattern with the students and that's the same students causing the issues, or is it kind of changing up?
Well, generally, yes, I'd say there's a pattern, but I guess it sort of depends on the day. With
Okay.
first grade, it depends on if they got a lot of sleep last night or, just different factors. And I do think it's kind of three or four main students who
Okay.
kind of cause disruptions in class, and then it almost is like contagious.
Yeah.
A couple of them
Absolutely.
will be unruly or rowdy, and then the rest of them will just think it's funny, and then it's just hard to get them reined back in after that.
Yeah.
So,
What steps have you taken so far to kind of work with those four children that you think seem to be the cause?
well, we started the year with everybody sort of on like an even level with discipline.
Mm-hmm.
We had the behavior stick, and they would all start on green, and then yellow, red as the day progressed. And then when the same children were on red at the end of every day, started noticing the trends. And then I realized that them going to the principal or whatever I decided for them to have to do for red that day, write a note home, call a parent, whatever, wasn't really working. It didn't really get their attention at all.
Okay.
And kind of what I've been able to gather from that is they don't really have any reinforcement at home. Their parents don't ask to see their agenda that they were on red, or if they do ask to see it, they don't get really any repercussions at home. They don't have any privileges taken away, or there's just really nobody there to reinforce what is taught to them at school as far as behavior goes. So since that was not working, we've started a check-in, check-out system
Okay.
with the assistant principal every morning and afternoon. For two of my students that seems to be working pretty well. It kind of keeps them in a line throughout the day. They know they have to have a certain number of points to be able to get a sticker or whatever the incentive is from the assistant principal. But for two of them, it's just still not working. So
Okay.
that's kind of where my concern is right now.
Okay.
What to
Have
do
you
with them.
talked to those students to find out perhaps if there's further issues going on as far as something during the day that's triggering them to act out, perhaps?
Um, I guess honestly, the conversation has not occurred about that. But for one of them, I do have a pretty good idea.
Okay.
His older brother is in the lunchroom when we are also in the lunchroom, so they see each other and they get all excited, and then we go straight from lunch to specials. And our particular day of conflict is when he goes to PE. He goes to PE, runs around wild, and then he's just revved up for the rest of the day.
Okay.
Um, so no, the conversation hasn't really occurred there, but I do kind of make a connection with him in particular. And the other student's very closed off, and he doesn't really communicate his feelings or ideas at all with me.
Okay.
And I'm making an active effort to try to get to that point with him, but so far it's been kind of unsuccessful.
So it sounds like the incentives you've kind of put in place aren't really making any change for this particular group of students.
Right. Yeah. And I guess as far as incentives go, I don't want to give them something that the other students who are behaving
Right.
well, because it's expected, they don't get jealous or say that they're not getting that incentive when they're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to find an incentive that does work and encourages them to behave So it's kind of just a limbo of
Yeah,
what
perhaps
to offer.
going back to what you said about the parents, maybe if we reached out to them, perhaps had like a parent-student night, and then talk to the parents about some of the issues that are going on in school, and then talk about some of the things they can do at home to help reinforce good behaviors.
Yeah,
Would you think something like that might be beneficial?
I do. The only time that I've talked to the parents before now was at the open house,
Okay.
or for one of my students because we had a behavior problem. So I don't want the parents to see me as, controlling, demanding, and not good at managing behavior. But at the same time, I do think it would be very beneficial to kind of see what's going on at home, why that would be affecting their student at school, and what I can do to, sort of help make that process easier for them.
Okay. Because I'm wondering if for some of the students, the parents are unaware. Perhaps the children are just going home and telling their parents everything is fine, and that could be a communication issue there where they're just not. Perhaps if they were being reinforced at home, it would help here.
Definitely.
And maybe the parents just unaware, and the child doesn't want to get in trouble, so they just don't say anything.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that, kind of relaying what happened at school to the parents is a big issue. And for one of my students in particular, I feel fairly confident that he's not telling his mom.
Okay.
I think language is kind of a barrier there too, because his mom might not understand really what, the clip system means or anything like that. So I think it would be, valuable to sort of explain that to her and explain what the colors mean and sort of that kind of thing.
All
but
right. Another idea, perhaps we made a flyer, and on the flyer talk about your clip system and what the different colors and programs you have using what they mean. So when they do go home with a red, the parent knows what that means.
Right, yeah. I think that's a great idea.
A little guide or some kind of reference.
Yeah. I think I've been caught up in the why are things not going well and not thinking so much about what could I do to prevent it or, to help get the parents involved, I think would be a big step in the right direction as far as behavior goes. So, yeah. With one of my students, though, I'm thinking about making more of a behavior plan, more specific, like specific expectations for him throughout different parts of the day. And I guess you could help me do that, just to kind of structure his day.
Seems like he needs a little bit more guidance.
Yeah, I think he just kind of gets lost over the course of the day, and he gets frustrated. And that kind of results in sort of his, not lashing out, because he's not doing that exactly, but sort of just why he gets sort of unruly throughout the day.
Okay. Well, we could certainly do that. Maybe talk with that student, maybe see what's going on with him, some of the distractions that may be causing him to lose focus throughout the day. Maybe even implement the check-in system for him as well, halfway through the day and toward the end of the day, and just kind of see how his progress is going.
Yeah.
But, is there any other issues in regards to discipline, or any other patterns or trends you're noticing that could mean something?
Not really. Something that I've thought about is maybe having the opportunity to observe other teachers, veteran teachers, because I am a first year, and it is one of those, like, you don't know how to do it until you're actually doing it type of things. So maybe having that opportunity just to sit in on maybe one or two different classes and just sort of see how they handle it. I think that would be beneficial. So
I know Miss Hall, the PE teacher, and then Miss Bailey, the art teacher, would love and wouldn't mind having that. They always deal with rambunctious kids, so discipline might be something really good you could observe in their classes.
Yeah.
If you want, I can put you in touch with their information, and you can set up a time, and that'll be good for you. Yeah,
that would be great. And I think that would be good to, help me sort of build relationships with other teachers in the school and just to really, get their support as far as behavior goes, because I am new and inexperienced with this. So I think that would be great.
Well, thank you for talking with me. Like I said, I'll get you in touch with the information and we'll start talking about making some parent-teacher meetings to talk with parents.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.